America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, well, we'd like to start the meeting tonight with a presentation from our robotics team. They're here to present tonight. We're so proud of their accomplishments. So I'd like to have the teacher and our assistant coach come forward and explain what's happening so we can celebrate their success. Introduce yourself and tell us what's the next step in your journey here.
Our team is 46390C, and we made it to Worlds.
We made it to Worlds.
So tell your name, tell your role on the team.
I'm Lance. I'm the driver, builder, and coder.
I'm Orion. I'm the scouter and the notebook writer.
I'm Nolan, also a scouter and a coder.
I'm Elise. I'm the backup builder and the scouter. So before we did B5, this is our first year of B5. So last year we all did the IQ, which is basically this, but a different game where you're going with someone, not against people, and it's plastic pieces that just snap together and not like, you don't have to like screw things away.
So what it was before was IQ, which we were able to build those robots really easily. So we thought that would be for this, but it was not that easy. And it took quite a bit of time. So we didn't have that much time to practice this.
What's went well this year?
Doing good in skills to get to state, and then getting paired with a good team, so we could get to Worlds too.
Talk to us about the Judges Award that you guys received.
Talk about both.
Yeah.
So this is the Create Award, which is from Robot Design, which is also from judging too. Then this is the Judging Award.
The judging award is like, so we do this interview and they like see what each person on the team does and like how we work together and like where we got our ideas from and like get a little bit to know you. Yeah, okay.
So
about your interview tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, we have an interview for Worlds tonight, and it's digital, not like all our other interviews like at state. We had to go in person and actually talk to them face to face. But for our interviews for Worlds, we have to do it on a camera, and it's 10 to 15 minutes, right? And send it in digitally.
All of you or each one of you?
Oh, all of
All
us
of us,
together.
okay.
it's all 6 of us.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah.
You go at the end of April, so.
Yep. It's a 3-day tournament. We're going to be competing at Worlds in St. Louis all day long. Yeah.
Proud of you guys. Worlds
Yeah, it's
again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How many teams do you know?
583, I think. That's, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at competitions, there's not a ton of middle school V5 teams, so they have to go against high schoolers a lot. So most of the season, they were a little down and frustrated, thinking they weren't doing so good. And we kept saying, you guys are doing amazing, you're going against high schoolers.
Yeah.
And I think the first middle school competition, they were kind of like, oh, we're pretty good. Yeah. So they've been working hard and went from IQ to V5, which is an IQ robot you can build in days. Yeah.
This takes 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they didn't realize to test everything when they were building it, so they'd get to the end and like, oh, the beginning steps didn't work. We had to take it all apart. So it's been a challenge.
Yeah, I did that a few times.
Yep. But they all said they want to do B5 again next year,
Yay.
so they like it. In middle school, you can still do IQ, but this is the harder one. They like it, so.
Now, can we see this move, or would that be a
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, on the ground, right.
So. We're gonna pick up the balls through the spinner, and then you can launch them all through that arm.
Into the tube.
Yeah,
This is
That's
much
cool.
faster than last year.
Yeah.
quite a bit
Yeah.
faster.
Are the pneumatics working?
No, there's no air.
Great job, guys.
Very nice.
That's pretty cool.
You should be very proud. I mean, worlds 2 years in a row, that's something to talk about. That's great. Good job.
An experience you'll always remember, and kudos to the coaches too.
Yes.
Who worked
Yes,
really hard.
thank you
Yeah, thank you,
guys.
coaches.
Yeah,
Thank you
nice
very
job, you
much.
guys, very proud of you.
Hey, we gotta go prepare for.
Thank
Right.
you. Good luck.
tonight.
Good luck in your interview.
Thank you, I'll be here this stuff.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Okay, we'll continue moving on with tonight's meeting with the consent items. And the first item will be the approval of the minutes from the financial report.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion so approved. Moving on to the next consent item would be for the claims approval.
Make motion to approve the claims. I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. Next consent item for this evening would be the payroll approval.
I'll make a motion to approve payroll.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion so approved. Then we'll move on to personnel. There are no certified personnel items tonight. The next would be for the classified items, and we have several employment approvals. The first would be the approval of Tabitha Clifford as special education para.
Motion to approve. Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion so approved. The next would be for the approval of Chris McGowan as the boys varsity golf coach.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. The next would be for the approval of Dana Kaiser, Jen Wrinkle, Sam Weller, and Matt Wilson as the track coaches.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. Then moving on to approval of Keely Magla as a volunteer and Mitchell Willis as a volunteer. Derek Logston and Blaine Russ as assistant baseball coaches.
I'll make a motion to approve them as assistant baseball coaches.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aaron abstained. Aaron needs to abstain.
Thank you for noting that.
You're welcome.
Then moving forward for the approval of moving Rebecca Henderson from study hours to a long-term ELA substitute.
I'll make a motion to approve removing Rebecca to long-term ELA.
And I will second that.
All approved?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. All approved. There are no adjustments for this evening. And then we move on to public comments. And one note, when we move forward with the board comments, I do have a note to the community schoolhouse that I'll read on behalf of the board. So when we get close to that item on the board comments, but are there any other public comments this evening?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Tim.
When we get to the board comments, I do have something to read on behalf of the board to the community schoolhouse project.
Okay.
Okay. We'll start with the list for public comments. And again, as a reminder, we have 3 minutes allocated for each of those who wish to speak. The first person to speak that signed up tonight would be Mr. James Shealy.
Well, maybe I'll defer until I hear what you have to say.
If you want tonight, I mean, since we're at this point, if you'd like to just share anything that you'd like to, I think hopefully we're addressing everything that you're going to be bringing up.
I hope, did the board get this article that was in Michigan City?
Yes.
In the paper on Michigan City and another Northwest Indiana Works, a nonprofit, have gone together and formed it together, and they're doing exactly at Elston School, old building is what we want to do in La Crosse. So it could be done. And I don't know how, their lawyer worked it out, or they worked out a team to do it together. And so it is possible to do this, and I just want to make sure that you guys saw this article. And then also too, we submitted this plan for the community schoolhouse. We had a 2-year plan, projected plan for a startup and also for funding. And I just want to make sure the board got copies of that. So you can see that we have a plan, and we want to move forward and get actively started on it.
Yes, we definitely received both.
I know tonight, you said the last board meeting, you were going to let us know where we stood on that. So
Correct.
I'll stand by with that.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Next, we also have somebody signed up, Mr. Kent Staples.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
Ms. Stamos here. I don't have much to say from the last time. There's much more to say, except that I'm here because I want to represent to you that interest in La Crosse High School extends beyond La Crosse and Tri-Township because the structure is significant to LaPorte County history, including its architectural history. As we said, as I said before, it was built by Larson Danielson, trying not to be repetitive from last time, as one of their earliest commissions. They built other high schools, but most or all, still researching it, are gone. As previously stated, this one is built like a tank, and estimates would cost over $500,000 to remove. Might the school board instead consider putting half those costs into the not-for-profit or a public partnership with Town of La Crosse and other not-for-profits? Give Community Schoolhouse a chance, give us a chance. Suggest that you can always make your contractual arrangements for appropriate clawback if we fail, but we won't. Understand the need for potential protections to show how serious we are in money-raising ability. I was willing to make a pledge. Others only want to do that when they see title transferred, I'm sure, and know the Community Schoolhouse possesses. The building will be the common memory of the people of La Crosse for years to come, and it is hardly a white elephant. It is repurposable for another 100 years or more. By any reasonable measure, it is the heart and soul of the La Crosse community, and the common purpose and common destiny of the people of La Crosse, and means so much to so many. It should rightly be overseen by the stewardship of the community it is in, now that it is no longer being used as part of the Tri-Township school system. I respectfully submit ethical and even spiritual imperative. I would urge you to entertain that you have a responsibility to create, you have the opportunity to create a sense of continuity with decades and decades of the school corporation being a part of that, the community there, and that there's a responsibility to continue the continuity of the memories of the people of the area. I'm asking the board to vest in this, the future of La Crosse. And if you are willing to convey title to the Community Schoolhouse tonight, I'm willing to up my financial contribution to $50,000 as an affirmation and partnership. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, for the sign up for public comments, there's Mr. John Watson.
Thank you. I should have went first, Pam. I'm not.
It's a hard act to follow.
My name's John Watson. I keep it brief. I come from the construction world. It seems to me like it would be a common sense decision to deed this over to the town of La Crosse. I don't know how familiar you are with Mr. Shealy. He has an awesome track record. I don't know if you've been down to the hangar and or if you remember what that was like 15 years ago. It's a thriving entity for the town. I believe that he could do the same with the school, and I think La Crosse needs it. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kelly Keel.
I have handouts. I'm reading a letter on behalf of the town of La Crosse. So the town of La Crosse is pleased to share a proposal this evening to invest nearly $300,000 in improving the area around the proposed community schoolhouse project and the Tiger Den. We've listened carefully to the feedback from school officials, and we are seeking to create an exciting opportunity for both the community schoolhouse and Tri-Township in a way that improves the La Crosse downtown. The town's proposal would repave 1,700 linear feet of Oneida and Michigan streets, which are the ones around the school, with improvements that would include new dedicated street parking as well as drainage upgrades. The town would also commit to paving the parking lot to the north of the school building, as well as creating a new paved designated parking spaces in the town lot half a block south of the Tiger Den. By project completion, there would be at least 175 parking spaces within a 1-block radius of the Tiger Den, more than enough for the busiest of all games. Additional investments include sidewalks, street lighting, and street trees that would make the space around the high school building and gymnasium safer and more inviting. This package of investments would also support parking accessibility to downtown businesses like the Lambs and the Hangar. We feel confident this proposal will aid community schoolhouses grant writing and fundraising efforts by showing there is a major financial commitment. But here's the thing, while this funding is already secured, it is COVID-19 relief funding, and it must be spent in the downtown, because that's how we had it earmarked, and all done by the end of this calendar year. The school board previously indicated it was willing to transfer the La Crosse High School building to community schoolhouse, and so as long as it is willing to still do so, the town will quickly get to work moving forward with this package of investments. However, there's a short window of time to implement this work, so if the school district plans to go in a different direction or is uncertain about how it will proceed, then the town will have to revert back to the other downtown projects that had been being considered. Over the past decade, when the town of La Crosse has set its mind to something, it has gotten it done. Over $14 million in investments that range from a new water plant, new water lines, new sidewalks, a new park, new apartments, and a new Dollar General, which is a pretty one at that. The Sheelys have demonstrated their ability to get things done, and we've seen this with the Hangar and with the restaurant and the apartments. The town, with all of its energy and grant writing experience, is fully behind community schoolhouse's vision. We think it is an exciting way to preserve a piece of our town's history and bring new assets into our community. And we hope that you're just as excited about preserving and making that history too. When you get to the bond meeting tonight, we ask you to send a clear message about the future and the direction of the La Crosse High School building and lend your support to the community schoolhouse's vision. Thank you.
Thank you.
You had 5 seconds to spare.
I started to speed up. Oh my God, I'm getting close.
I don't want this timer to go off.
Next up, we have signing up for this evening is Mr. Alan Stevens.
Mr. President, you had mentioned you were going to read a letter in on this project, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't my letter from South County Community Coalition.
No, it was that.
Okay,
We have our own separate.
I didn't want to read it. Again, I'm Alan Stevens, I'm president of South County Community Coalition. I had emailed Dr. McNulty, and I didn't have your official, I got all your official emails now here in the agenda, but I had a dog's breakfast of emails for 5 board members, so maybe you got the letter, maybe you didn't. If I may, I'll go ahead and read this into the record.
Please.
Dear Dr. McNulty and board members, on behalf of the South County Community Coalition, a nonprofit that represents the interests of the 7 southernmost townships in LaPorte County, I am writing to convey our support of the Community Schoolhouse Organization's initiative to find a reuse for the historic La Crosse High School building. The organization's efforts to find a new purpose for the beloved schoolhouse, particularly by seeking partnerships with healthcare and adult education providers, are admirable. The development of these services strengthens our rural communities and fosters an environment of growth that we know your school district is eager to see happen. Likewise, developing rural healthcare offerings and increasing employment opportunities in our small towns is of great importance to us. We know there will be challenges in the process of furthering community schoolhouse's vision, as is often the case with most meaningful or community initiatives. We are eager to help in any way we can, and as a sign of support, the South County Community Coalition has recently donated $500 to Community Schoolhouse. So often, community development initiatives struggle to find qualified individuals that are interested in doing the hard work of developing and delivering projects. The Shealy family has demonstrated their commitment to improving the South County community through multiple development projects, especially through its ownership of the Hangar, a local restaurant that attracts diners from all around the area, as well as 4 beautiful apartment units providing additional housing opportunities for families. We urge you to not let this opportunity fall by the wayside. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We really appreciate everybody's comments this evening. We'll continue moving on to tonight's meeting with the reports, and the first one will be the principal's report.
Hello, good evening. I want to talk about some celebrations. I want to celebrate the elementary robotics team. I'll let Mr. McMahon cover that a little bit more because we did have the elementary make it to state. And he's the one who wrote all the grants that we could even have a robotics team. And we flipped a coin and he won, so he went down there to cheer him on. So I'll let him talk about that. But I am super proud of the elementary students that participated. I want to give a shout out to our PE teachers, Mr. Sam Weller. He participated with our students in the Kids Heart Challenge for the American Heart Association. And with their efforts, they raised $1,500 for the American Heart Association. I'd like to give a shout out to our 2nd grade teacher, Ms. Trouch, our 3rd grade teacher, Ms. Smith, and our Title I instructor, Ms. Kaiser, for all their efforts. We took the iRead for 2nd and 3rd graders in the early part of March, and scores will be released later, but so far it's looking like we have some really good results, so that's exciting for all their efforts and using data and interventions, and I think we'll have a strong case here. I'd also like to give a shout out to our PTO. They put on our annual PTO Carnival Fun Fair. A special thanks to Christina McMahon, our president, and Sam Kaiser and Charla Messner, because they spent hours decorating and planning everything, getting sponsors. And also during that fun fair, our librarian, Mrs. Malke, she held a scholastic book fair, and parents spent over $4,000, so that's really exciting because I feel like they're going to go home and make their kids read or read with their kids. But also with that amount of money spent, we were able to purchase $1,952.44 of new books for our library, so almost $2,000 worth of new books for the kiddos. And then I want to talk about our professional development last Friday. It was our last session with Smecken's writing program. Amazing program. We finished the year kicking off the new year, so our presenter went over all the details for how the teachers will start their writing program next fall. She had everything ready for them. All they had to do, everything's in Google Drive, everything's labeled and in folders and month-by-month categories. All they had to do is click on it to see mini lessons, video clips, writing prompts, and then they have little assessments for them to give, and it's all 3 different genres, and all of that will prepare them for the iLearn test. So that was a really good professional development for our teachers. And speaking of iLearn, we will be taking iLearn on April 20th through the 25th. So send good vibes to our students and our teachers. And lastly, we had our awards banquet last week. We celebrated our 5th and 6th grade girls basketball team. They made it to the semifinals in the PCC tournament, and they received we had a lot of cheerleaders. They received cute little awards, so that was a fun night. And lastly, we had our pre-K and kindergarten roundup. We had almost 16 families show up, and we're continuing to promote that program and get all the families to join Tri-Township. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we had 2 teams make it to the state robotics tournament. The team that was here was our middle school team that made it, and then we had 1 elementary team, 46390B, Max Kaiser, Bentley McMahon, and Michael Hughes was on that team. So 120 teams made it out of the state. There's just over, I think, 500 elementary teams total. So we had a couple teams that missed it by like 2 or 3 spots of making it to state. So very competitive again this year. And the boys did okay at state. They didn't get a very good draw of their teammates throughout the day. I was proud of them though, and I know Coach Sonny just acted throughout the day. having not the best draw teams. We had our drama production last weekend, and it was amazing. Rain Skidmore, who I'm gonna bring to our next board meeting, did an awesome job being a senior, working with third graders, fourth graders, fifth graders. I was talking to Ms. DeMoss today and told her there's some sixth graders that have really grown, like they've been in it since third grade, and now in sixth grade, they look like they're in high school already. They've already done almost eight productions out for some of them, so just a really good job, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And then our go-kart team, they are finally built, and I've been racing them up and down the road. A lot of the mechanical work and getting the gear ratio right, and so they're about a month away from competing down at Purdue. So we're gonna bring them, and hopefully they can carry one in here so we can see it firsthand at the next board meeting. One of the issues we've had is they gotta turn it and carry it outside. It's a little wider than what the door is. But we got strong enough boys in there, so they're doing great. But we have two drivers, Alden McCormick and Ty Sikora, so they've been spending a lot of time driving up and down the road. And Cody Burnich is now our crew chief as well. It's been a lot of fun for them. They'll go down to Purdue 2 more times before they race to get used to it, but there are about 40 race cars, I think, down there. We'll be taking 2, I think we're only gonna take 1, possibly might take both. Just wanna make sure we're ready, because it is definitely gonna be a different experience for them. So we have 10.
When is that?
First week of May. Yeah, it's during, all of them are during the school day, so the boys really like it, because then they get to miss school throughout their race. But it should be a really good time, so. They've been
Insurance waiver was already up.
So, earlier this month, the juniors completed the SAT assessment, and we'll get results this week. So looking forward to that as we implemented a new kind of approach this year of doing some weekly prep sessions during the spring semester. And then talking to some other schools during the fall season. We're looking at making a change next year of giving it like 3 times throughout the year practice test. And starting with freshmen so that they can see what it looks like, and then they'll take it 3 times a year, so by the time they take it their junior year, they've taken 5 or 6 practice tests before that. So that's kind of the plan for that. We had signed on with 220 Learning back in November for our work-based learning simulations and some AI classes. And I've been working with them because the digital learning grant is out for the state of Indiana. And so we are applying for that, so I've been working with them so that we can apply for that grant with the hope that it will cover the cost of the 220 Learning, which that would open up that money for any other programming that we want to add. And then going along with that, work-based learning opportunities. Thank you to Dr. McNulty for working with Skillman. We have a couple internships for our students this summer here on campus. And so we have some kids that are really excited about that. They're paid internships, so they're really excited that they're going to get paid for doing it. And then we're also looking at internal internships next year, because we do have some kids that can't drive. And so we're looking at maybe maintenance, kitchen staff, athletic office, IT. So we're looking at all those places of using kids for those jobs as well. Because there's a big push in work-based learning now. They want every kid to pretty much have 75 hours throughout their high school career. So once they start their freshman year, they can count any hours. It can be during the school year, it can be during the summer, but we have to have an action plan, and then we have to track all of that. So Mrs. Urban and I have been working towards that of getting the juniors and seniors set up for next year. And then right after break, we will start Highland as well for 6th grade through 8th grade. So.
Does 4-H count towards that, Brian?
It will count for service-based learning, so I can't use it for that, for the draft place.
But to that point, anybody here that's from the community, we are definitely seeking opportunities for students who need placements. So if you have something in communications or agriculture or business or restaurant, we're always looking for placements for our students. So we appreciate it.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. be the superintendent's report.
Okay, so as you've heard, we've had a very busy and productive month in March. Our students have had the opportunity to participate, compete, and perform this month. And they've all risen to the challenge and have done extremely well. We're very proud of them and the staff supporting these efforts. And we're definitely keeping our PR consultant, Ms. Chelsea, busy with all the great news coming out of our school. I want to let you know that we just finished both of our ECA, which is our extracurricular activities audit, as well as our regular audit with the State Board of Accounts. And I'm happy to report that both audits were stellar, and our school corporation had 0 findings in the ECA account and a couple of very minor clerical things to fix in the regular audit, which is normal. The auditors praised us and said we did a great job, and I want to give a special acknowledgement both to Dara Goose, our deputy treasurer, and to Amy Wozniak. It's a ton of work to go through an audit while continuing to do your job at the same time, and they both have handled it well, and obviously are doing a good job in their day-to-day responsibilities. So thanks to both of them, and good job to our audit you guys. You may have noticed the new wraps outside on the field and the track. We have begun our capital improvements that are now that the weather is breaking. The track is nearly complete and is in much better shape than it was a year ago. We will be accepting bids for the projects that we have posted, and the bid opening will be April 21st at 1 o'clock here in the cafeteria. We encourage any of our local contractors who are interested to please look out on our website and submit a bid if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll continue to move on with the action items for this evening. The first would be for the moving the May meeting from May 25th to May 18th due to Memorial Day holiday. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. And then the next would be for the approval of the 26th, 27th board meeting schedule.
Motion to approve. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. Are there any discussion items tonight by the board? Then we'll move on for the board comments. And under the board comment section, I guess maybe I should have started off with this evening addressed to many that spoke tonight, but I appreciate everybody's comments. Back in April of 2024, the school board publicly stated our intent to deed the lacrosse school portion of the building to the community schoolhouse group. Over the past year, the community schoolhouse has had time to begin securing financial support, developing a plan for how the building would be used, and working through items such as insurance and other operational needs. At this time, aside from the generous donation that was shared at last month's meeting, we have not yet seen significant progress on those next steps, which many of those were addressed this meeting. As a board, we have a responsibility to protect the financial stability of the district, make sound decisions for our students, and also ensure that we are planning responsibly for the future. We want to also be very clear. We remain supportive of finding a positive, productive use for the building that benefits the community, and we are willing to continue working with the community schoolhouse to move this forward. To do that, we will work with our board attorney and the community schoolhouse group to outline a deed transfer with appropriate conditions in place to protect the school district from liability. Those conditions would include such items as proof of insurance, acknowledgement that the community schoolhouse would be responsible for repairs and maintenance, and the transfer of utilities and related obligations. We're hopeful about the possibility of the community schoolhouse repurposing this beautiful building to the benefit of lacrosse and the surrounding community, while understanding the board's responsibility to reach a timely, safe, and financially sound solution. We look forward to making positive progress together in the near future.
Thank you.
So that's on behalf of our board. So that's all we have on our main meeting. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjourned. So thank you for everyone's attendance on that. We'll move on to the private period that's next.
Be spent by December 31st or just encumbered. You got an extension, okay? I can be in this state by last 2024. What we're going to do. Yeah, so it still fits, but.
Motion to open the project hearing. Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
We should declare tonight's project hearing open.
I'll talk to you.
Okay, we have our bond counsel from East Miller here and the representatives, so we'll let them continue from here.
Members of the board administration, good evening. My name is Josh Winters. I work with Christine Vaughn at Vice Mayor and we serve as the school corporation's body counsel. The next portion of the meeting for tonight is to hold the project hearing. If you're interested in speaking at the hearing, please make sure you've signed in on the sign-in sheet, and that should include your name and address. After a presentation by the school corporation administration and its advisors, there'll be an opportunity for the public to provide comment. We just ask that, for the school corporation, just ask that each person limit their comments to 3 minutes, and the topic is limited to the proposed project. The purpose of the hearing tonight is because under Indiana Code, anytime a school corporation proposes to construct, repair, or alter a school building at a cost in excess of $1 million to be financed using a lease or by issuing bonds, the school board must first hold a public hearing at which the potential value of the project is shared, as well as the public is given the opportunity to provide testimony and ask any questions. Just a reminder, the public hearing and the consideration of resolutions tonight is the very beginning of the legal process to complete the project. The adoption of the resolutions tonight doesn't obligate the school corporation to fund or complete the project. We'll now hear from Dr. McNulty about the project itself and the value of the project.
Okay, so this is part 2 of the bonds that we had in place to continue forward with the needed capital projects for a lot of the deferred maintenance that has been happening. So some of the things that are in target for the next bond would be, again, site improvements, which would include a new switch for this building. The switch that is in this building currently, I think, is the original, so it's over 50 years old. So it definitely needs to be updated. A new servers, cameras, purchase of buses moving forward, and the outside facade that we've been talking about. So definitely much needed projects, and we are looking at $3.845 million.
Perfect.
Thank you.
We'll now hear from the school corporation's underwriter about the financial parameters of the project and the potential tax rate impact.
Good evening, Liz Brugman with Steve Foley Service Bonds, underwriter for the school corporation. A couple of slides in front of you just to show the financial impact of this proposed project. This should look pretty similar to what we went through last year. Again, just kind of the next step in that. So the first slide is the school corporation's current debt service fund levy. That's essentially a function of the school's outstanding debt payments and factoring in outstanding revenue and cash on hand that you have. But you'll see from 26 into future years that you do have some levy falling off, which helps mitigate the potential impact of this proposed bond issue. If you flip to the next slide, that illustrates the potential impact of the proposed $3,845,000 bond issue to be issued in 2026. This graph really illustrates 2 things, or accomplishes 2 things. One, we want to step up the grade, so the school corporation over the next 5, 10, 15 plus years. So trying to set you up for the future with the structure of this bond issue, so you're able to come back and do it within your future current debt service levy. So again, you'll see that here kind of beginning in your 2029 levy. We're also assuming an interest rate of 5% right now. If you sold bonds today, you're about a 4, 4.25. As Josh mentioned, this is the first step in the legal process, so we do try to be a little conservative early on, just given that there are some steps to take before we actually sell and close on the bond issue. The last slide is the maximum legal parameters. At the top there is the maximum par amount that has been mentioned, $3,845,000. With all these parameters, we can always come down from these numbers, but once they're set, we cannot go above them. The estimated cost of issuance and underwriter's discount is $145,000, leaving about $3.7 million for hard and soft project costs. Estimated interest rates of 2 to 7%. Again, if we sold bonds today, we're about 4 to 4.25. The final maturity estimated would be 20 years, so January 15, 2046. The maximum tax rate is 1.3640, but that does not factor in any levy falling off or prior debt payments falling off. Once you do factor that in, that's the net tax increase over your 2026 debt service fund tax rate based on your current AV, and that's 19 cents or 0.1906 per $100 of assessed value.
Can you speak briefly, if you would, about why schools have to go for bonds and referendums and?
Yeah, so, I mean, I think a lot of times in our personal life, everyone thinks you try to get out of debt as quickly as possible. Unfortunately for schools, in a lot of other municipalities, you don't necessarily always have those dollars just available in your operations fund, especially when you're talking about large ticket items like replacing a roof for multiple $1 million or paving asphalt for a couple $100,000. Those things start to add up, new cameras. So you start to cobble all of those together and it starts to be a pretty sizable amount that you just can't fund in your operations fund without completely deteriorating your operations fund, which pays for your utilities, maintenance, transportation, all of the day-to-day things kind of outside of the classroom that helps a school corporation run. So schools issue bonds all the time throughout the year. And again, it's to fund those projects. It's not just to add on or build a new field house or build a new building. A lot of times what we're doing now is funding these preventative maintenance, deferred maintenance type items that may not be a lot in one individual item, but when you start to stack 6, 7 of them together, they start to be a pretty meaningful amount. So part of the structure that we put together there too is knowing that you're going to have those ongoing needs. So we're going to tackle a lot of those projects, but also leave you capacity to come back and tackle any additional needs that come up in the next 5 to 10 plus years.
One of the things that the board has done is very smartly decided to pursue building a bus port with solar panels on top of it, so it's not unsightly because of the upcoming, the rise of the NIPSCO bills that we've all been suffering through, because the solar panels will pay for 80% of the school's NIPSCO bill.
Oh, wow.
And so that's a huge win for the school district going forward. So I think that's a very smart decision.
Absolutely.
We've always tried to get as solvent as possible, of course, but where do you, based on previous conversation you mentioned, where do we rank as far as being at our tax rate compared to local?
You guys have always been near the bottom. I think the actually bottom of LaPorte County, this still kind of puts you in the bottom, maybe bottom middle part of it. So, I mean, you're still well below a lot of your peers.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
We will now open the public hearing. Remember, if you'd like to speak, please sign in on the sheet, include your name and address. As I mentioned earlier, just please limit your comments to the proposed project and the financing, and keep any comments to 3 minutes. Is there anybody that's signed in to speak? Is there anybody that would like to speak that hasn't signed in?
Can I just ask a question? You said a switch, I think was one of, what is a switch for somebody who doesn't know?
It's an electrical switch that, for like your electrical box at your house, and ours is over 50 years old.
It's the main feeding of the school.
Okay,
It's the main brain.
so like it has to be electric panel?
Correct, yeah. Yeah, good question.
Would anybody else like to speak or ask questions, provide testimony? Okay. Yeah, just keep in mind this is, like I said earlier, the first step in the legal process. The board will continue to work with the administration and its advisors to be conservative with tax dollars and meet the educational needs of the district. We can go through the resolutions for consideration.
Okay.
Now, I can kind of give a brief explanation of each resolution, and then you all can vote on them if you'd like. So there's 4 resolutions. The first resolution tonight is the project resolution. It satisfies the requirement under Indiana code that before a school corporation constructs, repairs, or alters a school building with a total cost in excess of $1 million, and that cost is going to be financed using a lease agreement or by issuing bonds. The school board must first adopt a resolution
that outlines the educational purpose of the project, the estimated construction cost of the project, and the estimated tax rate impact of the project. So that's what this resolution is satisfying those requirements.
Could I please have a motion by the board for the approval of the adoption of the project resolution?
Motion approved. I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion so approved.
The second resolution is the resolution determining the need for the project. Under Indiana Code, before a school corporation can enter into a lease agreement to fund the project, the school board must first adopt a resolution determining that there's a need for the project.
And again, could I please have a motion for the approval of the resolution determining the needs for the project?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion so approved.
The third resolution is a resolution approving the form of the Second Amendment to lease. This resolution satisfies the requirement under Indiana Code that before the school board can have a hearing on the Second Amendment to lease, the school board and the building corporation must first agree on the proposed terms and conditions of the Second Amendment to lease before you can hold that hearing. So this resolution is just a statement resolving that you and the building corporation are agreeing on the preliminary terms and conditions of the proposed Second Amendment to lease.
Make a motion to approve that.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion so approved.
The final resolution is what we call the reimbursement resolution. Satisfies a federal tax law requirement that in order for the school corporation to be able to reimburse itself for any project costs you may incur before you actually close on the bonds and receive the bond proceeds, you must officially declare your intent to reimburse yourself from bond proceeds if and when those proceeds are received. So this is simply a statement. It's a reservation of rights resolution. Essentially, if you have any incur any costs from now until you close on the bonds, you'll be able to reimburse yourself for those costs.
And do I have a motion for the board for the adoption of the reimbursement resolution?
I'll make a motion. I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion approved. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn. I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, for your attendance this evening. I appreciate it.